Today is Prime Day, and with that there's actually some Quest 3 sales we weren't expecting, but only if you're looking to get the Quest 3S. $250 for Prime Day, and every sale we mention in the video today will have a link down in the comments and description down below. That does support the channel if you want to help us out. And if you remember in last week's news, it looks like the rumors we saw over on Twitter about some sort of Gorilla Tag bundle were true, but only for Amazon. Amazon has an exclusive Cardboard Hero Gorilla Tag bundle. This brings the Quest 3S price down to $249, and instead of the Batman Arkham game you normally get with the Quest 3S and the 3 months of Horizon Plus, you get some in-game cosmetics and a bunch of shiny rocks, all about $45 value inside a Gorilla Tag. Although if you'd rather get the usual bundle, Walmart does have it for $250. That includes Batman Arkham Shadow and the 3 months of Horizon Plus. A surprise that Amazon does not offer this bundle, but they do have the 256GB Quest 3S down to $329, which is actually a pretty significant savings from its usual $400, and that does include Batman and Horizon Plus. It is officially the lowest price we've ever seen on a 3S, but no sale whatsoever on the regular Quest 3 that we could find today, sadly. That's the only savings you're gonna get on headsets today, but there is tons of accessories on Prime Day, other ones are on sale, ones that we've tested and loved over the years, so let's talk about all of those. First up, if you follow the channel for a while, you know my absolute favorite head strap is the BoboVR S3 Pro. This is a Halo style head strap, meaning it puts the weight up on your forehead, not pushing on your cheekbones and your eyebrows. It relieves all that pressure. The innovative things about this headset is one, it's got a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack. It's basically gonna double the battery life for your Quest 3 or do even more for the Quest 3S. And on top of that, it has a cooling fan up on your forehead that helps prevent the fogging inside the headset. It also just helps keep you a lot cooler if you're playing, and the newest model that you'd be getting if you get it from Amazon today has an even bigger fan than the launch one did, and it pushes a lot of air out, a surprising amount. Once you get used to using this, especially if you're doing active games or fitness games, you're gonna have a really hard time going back to not having this fan on your headset. The deal brings it down from the $90 down to $72 on the Prime Day, which is a great deal for the head strap and the battery you're getting, but it is a sale we've seen before on it. It is a lower price, and you'll probably end up wanting to get more batteries or a dock later on for it. So it'll save you some money now, but in the long run, you probably will end up spending more on the head strap. But I've heard from tons of you out there in the comments and stuff, once you finally got this head strap, it was a game changer, not only for how long you could play because of the battery, but how long you could play because you were actually comfortable in VR. When it comes to head straps for Quest, there is basically two types that exist in the world. The one that we just covered is a Halo strap. That means it puts the weight up on your forehead. Most people prefer that, find it more comfortable, but some people do still prefer Elite style straps. Those don't have a forehead pad, but what they do is they tighten down the way the headset fits on your face and on the back of your head. And that means for really active games where you're shaking your head and moving around, some people feel more secure. They feel like there's less of a chance of the headset ever falling off, and they prefer it because of that. And if you're someone who has a 3S, not only is the BoboVR E3 a great strap for that, but it also adds back your audio port that you're missing. So in case you aren't aware, one of the many differences between the 3 and the 3S, the 3S does not have an auxiliary port to plug in your own headphones. BoboVR made this Elite strap with that same hot swappable battery pack, but a feature to fix that by adding in an auxiliary port on the actual head strap itself, so you can plug any headphones in you want. That one's down from $80 to $64 currently on Prime Day. And if you are someone who's had Elite straps before, you know you like them from the Quest 2 days or something, the Kiwi one was my top pick after the BoboVR straps, and now Kiwi has just dropped a new head strap that not only has a battery pack, although it's not hot swappable, it is something you have to charge all the time, it has integrated audio headphones that fit on your ears. And so far the reactions and the reviews have been really positive to that. We haven't gotten our hands on one yet to try it out, but it is on a sale. Very expensive head strap. It's down from $160 down to $112 for Prime Day. But if you want something that's pretty much an all-in-one solution, this has got your battery pack, it's got your headphones built in. Unfortunately, no fan to speak of, and you can't hot swap the battery, but if you were looking to save some money and you've been keeping your eye on the Kiwi one, it might be time to get it, especially because with Prime you do have free returns if you decide later it wasn't for you. Replacing the head strap is always my first suggestion for a Quest when you get one, because of the comfort, how much it's going to allow you to enjoy your headset more, and then if it's a battery one, it's going to let you enjoy it for even longer. Second after that is usually a facial interface. The part that's touching your face does a lot for comfort, and there's a lot to choose from right now, which does make it tough to find. If you're specifically wanting to get one from Amazon on Prime Day, the AMVR FC3 is a common one people really like. I enjoyed it when I checked it out. It's currently down to $32 from its usual $40. Unfortunately, BoboVR does have a great facial interface they just dropped, but it's not yet out on Amazon. It is still cheaper though on BoboVR's website itself. On the early bird price, it's only $20, and there will be a link directly to BoboVR in case you do want to get that facial interface. It's built to go with the S3 Pro. It has channels in the top to allow the air to come down to your face, really helping with the fogging, helping keep you cool, and it's the one I've been using since it came out. I really like that. But there's another one on Amazon I actually haven't tested out yet. If you're interested interested in getting it while it's on a Prime Day deal, Desk Tech is advertising that they have a cooling face pad in there. And if you remember, we did a test on a Quest 2 one that advertised cooling, and we were able to prove with a thermometer that it actually stayed cooler against your face. Basically, it's using that same cooling gel that you see advertised in beds and mattresses that just helps disperse your heat and extract it from you. This is one thing I'm going to be personally buying on Prime Day just so I can test this out and review it. So far, its Amazon reviews are pretty good. People seem to like it. And of course, if you get it before I reviewed it and you decide it's not for you, it is on Prime, so at least you can also return it for free. One thing important to differentiate here though is the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S. The only accessory that doesn't work for both is facial interfaces. So make sure you're not clicking on any of these if you have a 3S, and wait, there is some 3S facial interfaces. But the last one for the Quest 3 I'll bring up is the VR K3. We've tested multiple of these different types of facial interfaces that have fans built into them, and they're more for elite straps. If you are an elite strap fan with your Quest 3, this does unlock the ability to actually have a fan working with it again. And not only that, but it relocates the strap on the front to the actual facial interface instead of the front of the headset, which makes it really easy to swap it out or take the head strap off if you need to. It does add one more thing to charge, although the USB port is located near the charging one on the Quest. So if you are someone who has a battery strap with a bit of a longer cable, you might be able to take your battery strap one from the side and reach up and just plug this into when it needs to be charged. A fan is one of those accessories you don't really think you need it, but once you try one on a Quest, it's hard to go back to not having it. So I would highly recommend considering a fan if you don't already have one, and especially if you have an elite strap, the KK Cobb does work with that. And then if you do have a 3S itself, AMVR does make a good facial interface for the 3S that I'll leave a link to. That one's under $19 today on its Prime Day deal. A good sale price, and it does make a big difference if you've had the stock facial interface on any Quest. I just hate the material they use, how it soaks up the sweat. Anything with pleather, leather, or some other design that doesn't soak it up, I think just makes the headset far more comfortable to wear for a long time. Usually the next step on your accessories journey is controller grips. There are a lot of different styles of controller grips out there for the Quest. They do work for the 3 or the 3S, which is nice. They're all interchangeable. Ultimately, grips solve a few problems. One is the fact that those wrist straps they come with really aren't great. You can drop your controller with them on, but they don't help you hold on to the controller at all. Some of them replace the need for replacing batteries. You can charge them up, although you don't have to change batteries usually in the controllers too often unless you're having some sort of glitch. But one of my favorite grips I've tried so far is on a Prime Day deal, the Maker charging grips. But what these do is these add quick release hand straps. You can slide your hand and pull the cable. They quickly lock into place. On top of that, they replace the batteries and add a USB port to the bottom so that you can easily plug these in USB style, charge them up, and always have them ready to go. $32 is a decent deal for grips that charge, have batteries, have hand straps. They're all silicone. They're really comfortable in your hand, and they do extend the controller a little bit if you feel like the regular controller is a little wimpy, a little short in your hand, not enough for you. BoboVR did just drop a new set of grips, and although they're not on a Prime Day deal, there is a $10 coupon that brings them only down to $20. These, as I said in the video, are probably the grippiest grips on the planet, although I did wish they were a quick release style handle. These are ones that have a Velcro strap that strap over your hand, meaning they're great if only you're using the Quest, but if you're switching them around between people all the time, it's just a tiny bit more of an inconvenience to readjust them and get them comfortable again. But they have a moisture wicking hand strap on the back. The design in the front is meant to handle sweat, so if you're doing really active gaming, they do work well for that, helping deal with the sweat. And they are one of the few that are upgradable. If you want to get a dock later and charge them, you can do that, but for now you can just pay the $20 for the grips and work your way up to that, which is pretty cool. Or if you're someone who likes stock batteries but you do want a bigger grip, of silicone hand strap, Kiwi's ones are down to $28 on Prime Day. These are just like the ones on the Quest 2 that I loved and used most of the time before other styles came out. These extend the controllers quite a bit. They have holes for the tracking. They do also include a wrist strap, although I think it's totally unnecessary. I just take them off with that because you have the hand strap keeping them safe, and then they have that quick battery door that replaces the battery door, so you never have to take the grips off to swap batteries again. So they're a nice option if you are looking for something where you don't have to worry about charging them. You can still swap batteries if you want, but it just saves you a few steps in the future, and they are really comfortable grips. Any of those I'd highly recommend. Or if you do want the BoboVR ones that also charge with the new dock, I'll leave a link, but you still have to go to BoboVR's website to get those for now. Usually the next step after that for me is a case, although some of you get those way earlier to protect the headset, which is important if you're traveling around with it a lot. And the best case, the BoboVR C3, the one that we have thrown out of buildings, thrown down on the ground on hard cement, and we have not broken a single Quest that we've dropped in it yet, is down from $60 to $48. It works for the Quest 3 or the Quest 3S. Stores extra batteries if you're using their head straps, your controllers with their grips, with other grips. Big Halo style head straps. It straps the whole thing down with Velcro. And this is the only case that I've ever felt could handle the durability test of throwing it out of a building. So other ones we haven't tried that with because I was too afraid of breaking Quest. But the BoboVR case is solid. I highly recommend it. It has a shoulder strap that you can add if you want to carry it over your shoulder. It is big though. If you're looking for one that just fits everything big, doesn't need to be thrown off a building. We were really impressed when we tried these over-the-shoulder style cases because of how much they extended. There's a Sarlar one for $26 right now on Prime Day. I'll leave a link to that one too. I personally prefer the BoboVR one, but I do feel like the Sarlar one travels a little bit better. It's a little smaller, but it can expand when you need it to. And the way it's designed just feels like a mini backpack you throw over one shoulder. It works well and it's cheaper if you're looking for something a little more budget friendly. So there'll be links to both of those as well. There's a few random accessories that just add extra layers of protection to your Quest that I rock on mine. One of them we tested a long time ago and they are still hooked to my Quest even to this day. Camera lens protectors that go on the outside of the Quest. They hook on via stickiness, but it's a 2-pack, so you do have extra ones in case you somehow break one off. Although, like I said, I put mine on once and they've stayed on ever since, so I think as long as you don't try to remove them too much, they're going to stay on there. Those not only add a layer of protection over the lenses on the outside, but they also stick out further, just helping to add a little bit more protection even if you were to drop your Quest with those on there. The 2-pack is going to cost you a little more than if you go find a single pack on Amazon, but the 2-pack is on a Prime Day deal at $14. Gives you extras, or you can use them in the future later. These are Quest 3 only, of course, because the Quest 3S does not have the same style of lenses. And then a big one, if you're sharing your headset with glasses wearers, a lot of people don't realize this, but glass on the glass lenses, the two against each other, will scratch up your lenses inside of your Quest. So AMVR and other companies have these snap-in protectors that just add an extra layer of protection or an extra spacer that keeps glasses away from the lenses. For anyone that shows their headset to a lot of people, especially when they have glasses, I highly recommend these. These make a big difference. I scratched one of my first PSVRs almost instantly when we had people over and somebody used their glasses, and we didn't know back in those days how easy it was to scratch lenses with glasses. So it'll save you the heartache of scratching your lenses long term, and they can always be replaced if you do manage to scratch these up, but keep the inner lenses safe still. Definitely good to add a couple layers of protection to your Quest. If you've already gotten all those other accessories and now you're looking to move up to more immersive ones that take you a step further, there's a couple different random ones that we can talk about here. I do like a golf club accessory when it comes to Walkabout Mini Golf or other golfing games. Something that you can put your controller in that makes it feel like a real golf club handle really adds to the immersion. And more than anything, it lets you get 2 hands on the club, which just feels so much better. The AMVR one, which is pretty serious, is on sale for $33. But there's also a Yogi's one on sale down for just $23 with a 5% coupon as well. That one's actually not a Prime Day deal. It's just way cheaper than the AMVR one. So I'll leave links to both on those. There's also some handle extenders from AMVR if you're just looking for something for extra reach. They're really popular in Gorilla Tag, although keep in mind they're bent back, which means they do better with tracking. Your headset can see them better, but not all games can accommodate that inside of the game, meaning you may end up with a weird angle depending on what you're playing or doing. But those are down to $20.79. It gives you both controllers extensions, and you can attach them together to make like a Darth Maul mode saber for Beat Saber. But again, you do need to be able to adjust the angle of things inside of games to make these work. But for like Gorilla Tag, where it's just your hands, that doesn't really matter. These are good ones for that. And they have wrist straps for those crazy people that are really going hard swinging those Gorilla Tag controllers, or even just using the wrist straps as some of the kids do. Unsafe, but it will add a little bit of extra protection. Keep in mind though, the controllers need to go in the way they are. They're not going to be able to have grips on them while you're doing it with most of these extensions. So if you do have grips and you prefer the grips, it can make for one more step of inconvenience. There's not a lot of charging docks on Prime Day, and they're not always something I recommend just because they're often incompatible with so many other accessories that you can get for your Quest. But one of them that I did like, the Prism XR charging dock, is on sale. It's not a huge sale, 18% off, bringing it to $63. If you are someone who likes to have your Quest always charged up, set aside, ready to go to play, docks are a great option. There's just too many variables out there. But if you do like the stock controllers the way they are, and you're not putting big protectors on your headset, the Prism does allow you to use other straps and accessories and still charge things up. So it is worth a mention here, although I will give you that disclaimer that again, a lot of these don't work with other accessories. If you are a fan of the BoboVR lineup, they have a charging dock that's basically always out of stock because it's always selling out too quickly. But if you end up with all their stuff, you can watch for that and maybe eventually get one again if they ever develop enough, or they have now made the one just for the controllers that we tested out. But that's Prime Day. Tons of stuff on sale. You can obviously look at other stuff on there. If you do hit one of our Amazon links, it does support the channel, even if you end up buying other accessories after the fact, if you hit a link first. So if you do that down below, that helps us out a lot. I really appreciate it. It helps us keep making these videos for you, testing accessories, keeping you updated on the news, what games to play, all of that. I appreciate all of you out there though. You've done so much for us over the years. If you can't see, we're now in a new sort of space. We have more space behind us again. We're not in that closet. So we built a new sound booth. It's not done yet, but at least the background kind of is. You can see a bunch of the stuff that's happened over our journey of the years of the channel, things that have been sent to us, the Dundies we got from a big fan out there, but all kinds of random stuff we've unboxed, and a box up there you're gonna see here very soon what's inside of that and how we reacted to that too. So again, thank you so much for being here with me all these years. I hope this helps save you some money, get you what you want and needed for your headset. Let me me know in the comments what you already have or what you did get today. I'd love to hear from you. Keep the conversation going there. I'll see you in another reality.